What's going on? Constellation Gaming here. So we're about 2 months into the Moonrise meta game at the moment, and we've developed a meta with Lunar Aggro seeming to be at the top of the list. But today I have a list that I think is extremely good at countering it. So introducing to you 24-hour beatdown version 2. So this is the list, and as you'll see, it's kind of a variation of the current Lunar Aggro deck that's being played right now, plus a lot of the solar cards that are also being played right now. So starting off, we've got 3 copies of Aster Rabbit here, just due to the fact that it has an extremely strong ability, and it is a great defensive wall that you can activate its ability turn after turn to gain resources with. Got 2 copies of Lumaru. This is an extremely strong attacker at 5 attack that allows you to also mill them 3 if you get the attack through. Plus, with it being a 2 defense versus a 1 defense like Neckruff and Sorlet and stuff like that, Lumaru is actually able to live stuff such as Eddie under PTA, or like if it's a defense, Nobby under PTA, or just an attack position Rabbit, which actually makes a big impact on Lumaru's ability to stay in the game sometimes. Next up, you've got 2 copies of Kakare. Kakare is here just to turbo out your Drake Array with the First Light, and then stack one of these 2 with the First Light on top of that. That's kind of the purpose of that combo. And then Drake Array is a really big body that allows you to heal for 3 when it enters. It's extremely strong in the fact that it just essentially comes out for free. Like Kakare plus First Light into Drake Array, that's all 3 of the spirits that you need to get the Drake Array out, plus you get to stack your deck with whichever 2 of these Celestials that you would like to pick. Then we've got a Calf-Mel here. Calf-Mel is extremely strong in this deck due to the fact that it doesn't only heal for Solar, it actually heals for Solar or Lunar, so we can pick out whatever variation of spirits that we would like from this and then bring them back to our spirit deck. Got 2 copies of Spectaris because it shuts off anything that relies heavily on its ability, such as the Galaxy that's being played right now, actually shuts down a Doppelganger, and a lot of other stuff that's currently being played right now. Got 2 Werepups here because we're pairing it with Blank Void and the Full Moon combo in order to just have massive swings of damage that are unable to be affected by counter runes. Nobby here. Nobby's extremely strong, allowing us to give all opposing Celestials -2 as long as they're not on Solar or Lunar. And as you can see, it really doesn't affect us except for the fact that Eddie and Chick might go down to 2, but that's it. We're really not going to use Rabbit as an attacker very often. It might sometimes come into effect where -2 in your Rabbit might be a negative effect, but it's not very often that it's really going to matter too much. Then we've got the Doppelganger that will ascend from the Nobby when you kill something. Doppelganger having the same effect, just permanently, is also extremely strong and pairs well with our deck. Got 2 copies of Nobby here in order to properly answer a Rabbit or anything else that's currently being played right now. As you can see, a lot of the cards that are being played right now actually die to Eddie as long as there's not a Galaxy on the field. Then you've got 1 copy of Elichick. This is to help us find out our Zeus. It is extremely strong just due to the fact that it essentially is a 7 attack body whenever it comes out. Plus also allowing you to get Zeus pairs really well with Nobby, so that way you can kill essentially anything that you're trying to in order to get into Doppelganger. Got 1 Resting on Your Laurels for comeback ability and just the ability to kill something. Got 3 Ambrosia because healing's extremely busted in this game. Got 1 Earthquake just due to the fact that unconditional removal is always going to be good. First Lights are there just for the Kakare Drake Array combo. Zeus's we've already talked about. Lunar Phases are there for the Werepups, like I said. Got 2 Tsunamis to blank an entire battle phase unless they're water enchanted. 3 Gorgon Skates to say no to literally everything an Celestial wants to do. 2 PTA to kill stuff. And then 2 Shield to bounce an opposing Celestial back to hand. I don't really like bouncing the 1-drops because a lot of the meta ones just are going to be able to search out something again or play out something. Or have another effect happen, like Eddie, Nobby, or the Werepup. None of those really feel great to bounce back to hand, but it is also very critical because the Doppelgators and the Drake Arrays and Lycovoids that are running around at the moment. And also don't forget about Tornigen, that's very popular in another rendition of a Solar deck. For our spirit deck, we've got one fire spirit, that way we can play our Draco Ray, 2 Terratlas for our Earthquake, 3 Leviathan for our eddies and our tsunamis, and anything that we're going to put in the side deck that might require water. And then we've got 4 Zaptor for our Zeuses, Elechic, and Rabbits. We've got 5 Owloon for our lunar half of the deck, and then we've got 5 Luminate for the solar half of the deck. So without further ado, let's get into some gameplay of it. So in this gameplay, we're against a Snark deck. He starts off by expending draw, and then just passing. I draw for turn. And then after a while of thinking, I just set to end up expending to draw. If you ever do that, always expend a draw first, that way they don't know, because obviously in that situation, I ended up drawing into a counter rune there. So if I expended to draw first, they don't necessarily know what I draw, but they kind of obviously can infer that I drew a counter rune at that point. He goes to play the Galaxy, and I think here for a minute on what I'm gonna do, because whale arrow question mark. I don't like having this whale around. And I'm sitting here, I'm debating it. And then I do end up pulling the trigger on the arrow, actually. And just instantly taking the damage from his swing. I play out Werepup here. Try to get myself some momentum since he doesn't really have too much of a board here. The effect's allowed to go through, so then I go find my full moon. Set 1, and then swing for 1. And I'm in a pretty good spot here because I've got 2 back row to protect this Werepup plus a full moon to ascend, so I'm feeling pretty confident here. I don't feel like there's too much that I'm worried about here. Biggest thing I'm worried about is just getting cryoblasted to death. But we're probably just sitting here chatting, which is why there's a little bit of a pause here, because I do play with him a decent amount. He's thinking about what he's gonna do here. If I'm right, he does end up expending to draw. Oh, no, I was incorrect. He actually just plays out a Spectaris here. And then he attempts to swing over the Werepup. And I just put the spirits on in the wrong order here. It looks like I'm just not putting anything on and then ascending. I just kind of grabbed the wrong one. Meant to grab Lunar for the full moon spirit there. And then, yeah. So, just all in the same thing. Just easily put the full moon spirit on to do the ascension. And then that prevents him from being able to kill my Werepup there. I play out the Rabbit here, just to gain more resources. Because Rabbit's never really a bad answer to play. Even if you're ahead, just playing out Rabbit, getting resources is really good. Now I'm worried that that back row is live, so I do actively put the Rabbit in defense, because I'm worried about like shield or something. And I go to attack, and he just straight up takes it, and spec dies quickly. So now I'm really curious what this back row could be. Oh, I showed him that he was telling me how he just doesn't respect Hurricane. I was like, I got it in the sideboard. And so I just grabbed my sideboard, showed him that real quick. But I didn't have the Hurricane in the main deck, obviously. We were talking, chatting, ended up showing him the Hurricane from side. And then he expended to draw, because he didn't really have an answer here. He's looking for something that he can do to help him out. And I ended up drawing for turn. Play out Cockeray here, and then play First Light. Utilize Cockeray's effect so I can go into Draco Ray. The one thing I did mess up is I went to put that Spirit in Grave for some dumb reason. But then I also messed up the fact that I only had 2 Solar Spirits in Grave, so I didn't get to heal for the full capacity that Draco Ray would be capable of doing. But still, healing for 2 while playing a 7-3 is extremely strong. And then now I feel pretty secure. If one of those back row is like live or whatever, I don't really care too much, nearly as much as I would have last turn when he had Spect on board. So I flip Rabbit to attack, then go to attack. He shields me out, but still he ends up taking 6 total here, which is an just absurd amount. He's still back against the wall. He's already had to deal with 1 Ascension. Now he's dealing with the 2nd Ascension. And one of his back row is Ambrosia there. Plays the 2nd Ambrosia. I'm like, alright, this dude's going off. And then he plays the 3rd. I'm like, alright, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. Just triple Ambro right there. No hesitation, just pulls the trigger. I was like, alright. So now he's all the way back up to 13 when he was at 7. Now he plays out Navi, attempting to go over my Rabbit. I'm gonna Gorgons here during the battle step, that way it just kills it. Utilizing Earth Spirits, because I'm pretty sure I'm not finding Earthquake at this point. So that way I can still use everything else. Deciding what to do here. And then I just play out Lumaru here. And then, yeah, he just quickly tsunamis that. I was trying to swing over. He's just like, yeah, no, that's all going to defense. Good play. Valid play. Then he plays out Snark here. And he plays Rock in a hard place, and I'm like, I'm actually in a really hard place here. Because he uses Rock in a hard place, targets my Rabbit and my shield, because he doesn't have too easily of a way to get over Rabbit. Or in my back row. And then, yeah, it's shield. I end up killing off the Rabbit, because I know I need the Draco Ray more in this position, and he has no back row, so Draco Ray is just free right now to kill stuff, and just maintain advantage here. Now, even though I've got a decent board advantage, I'm still down on spirits, so I'm still a little worried here. But then I play out Navi here. Utilize Navi's effect, -2, go over, and then I get to ascend into my Doppelganger here. And this is the power of this deck, is I'm playing 3 different Ascensions, and none of them did I ascend into. Like, if this deck goes off, you can easily just ascend multiple times, multiple Alestrals, without having to worry about actually hard ascending into them. Because 3 out of 3 times this game, I have not ascended at all. So he takes the 4 damage from my guys, and then plays out Spectaris. In defense, just trying to get whatever. Just lack of damage. Trying to save himself a little bit here. And then I play out Spectaris in defense, or in attack with Tsunami, or Leviathan, and he just scoops. And now for the pros and cons of the deck. For the pros, you get to play a lot of very powerful Ascensions that allow you to sway the game the turn they come out, possibly. This deck is also extremely strong into the current Lunar aggro list due to the fact that everything plays around Navi. Also, with Spectaris being able to be played main deck and you easily being able to put a 3rd one into this deck, it kills the Galaxy that is frequently played everywhere too. For the cons of this deck, you're playing a lot of Ascensions, so you can easily just draw into them and brick your hand, or you can draw into some of the combo pieces that are utilized to get into these bigger Ascensions instead of the other pieces that you would need at that moment. While this deck is extremely powerful, it can be a little inconsistent in drawing some of those combo pieces in wacky orders. So what do you guys think of the deck? Is it something that you would play? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if there's anything that you're interested in seeing me build. I hope you all have a good day, and peace.